this one, since you guys have had a couple close matchups, what are you expecting from, 2-4 teams that maybe people didn't expect that to be the case?
Yeah. Whether it's expected or not, we're expecting an angry bunch. Didn't play as well as Coach Ford and his staff and players probably anticipated to play against a very hungry, very well-executed team in Northern Colorado last week. Again, it's probably one of those situations where one team probably played their best game of the season without seeing a ton of Northern Colorado to this point, and one team played maybe their worst game of the season. So no matter who you are at this level, that's usually not going to add up to good things. And they battled, they fought, they crawled back, and then North Colorado just stayed one step or two steps ahead. But an angry bunch, a motivated bunch, a team that, again, this is this year's team, but for the last few episodes of this game versus University of Idaho, we haven't been on the scoring more side of things, which is unfortunate for us and bad taste in our mouth. But whether it's fall 21 or fall 25, I mean those things are great in print to say it hasn't happened since, and will it happen when? And it's this version of this team against that version of that team, and they'll be angry, they'll be hungry, there'll be some things that they will do much better. I expect them to do much better on the road in Cheney on Saturday. So we have full intention. They have our full respect and focus. That's the way it's going to be every week, but especially coming off a bye where we didn't get to evaluate ourselves on Saturday. The last time we got to evaluate ourselves was the previous Saturday. So hopefully we cleaned a few of those things up. We're not going to clean everything up in 5 days, but a few of those things up against a bunch that's coming to win, just like we're coming to win as well.
It's probably one of the few games going in, you could see 5+ quarterbacks playing in this one.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah. How do you even begin to prepare?
Well, I think the first question always is how many game plans do you put out there versus the quarterbacks you're going to see. I think foundationally you have a game plan against their sets, and then obviously in any game when they play with certain people, you make some minor tweaks and adjustments prior to the game and make some tweaks and adjustments in the game if need be. So we expect Josh Wood to play. Didn't play at all last week, and all reports say that he played banged up in the second half of Montana. So expect him obviously to play if he has a chance to play. That's the expectation. Whether Mr. Lane plays or not, played the whole game last week and obviously gave the ball up a couple times, and Coach Ford wasn't excited about that. No one is as a head coach to give possessions away, but played I thought pretty well outside of those few mistakes. And then obviously they have Rocco that they'll put in there and do some of the same things we've done the last couple of years in short yardage situations, or maybe obvious pass situations where they actually fool you and run it. So we're going to have not a game plan for each. We're going to have a game plan, and then we're going to have minor tweaks and adjustments, just like any defense would against certain sets or different personnel or different people that you may see. So I'm excited to see. I hope every week we play the healthiest team across field that they can beat, because we want to be at our best. We want them to be at their best. And so I root no harm on anybody. So hopefully they play with all their guys, and that's the same thing I feel about us each and every week. So shall be exciting. And like you said, there probably won't be 2 quarterbacks, one on each side, that play the whole game, which makes it that more intriguing and that much more exciting.
We've talked a lot this season about this being a younger group for you guys. How do you kind of handle the pros and cons of coming off of a bye week with the younger group?
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably sit Coach Ford next now to me, and he'd probably echo some of the same things. I mean, you're going to run into some things that they haven't faced. I don't think you can only learn from experience, but your best learning moments are usually from experience. When you don't have that, you don't have something to reach back to. So some of these guys, just like their team, there's 6 games of experience. There's 6 games of data. There's not 16. There's not 26. So that's just the way it is. I mean, they start 3 freshman receivers, and they don't all have 6 games booked as receivers. They're freshman receivers. They are who they are. We expect them, just like our team, to play at the level they're capable at. Sometimes you play better than anticipated. Sometimes you don't play as experienced as you are. But I think you're going to have some growing pains at times, and I think the purest form of gratification is delayed gratification. I really do. When you're young and you get success or quick success, sometimes that could be not a defining learning experience. That could tell yourself maybe that might be the norm as you go forward. So. Youth is youth. You got to deal with what you have and get as most out of it. And our connectivity to our players, and our players with our players, I think it's strong, very strong, and very, very tested up to this point. But we only have 6 games with this team thus far, with Game 7 on the horizon on Saturday.
As far as even just the guys that we just talked to, a lot of them haven't seen a win over Idaho
Mm-hmm.
in time here. Where do you see through their eyes kind of how they view this rivalry? Obviously, it's important to the area, but is it something in the back of their minds, or is this just next game?
I don't think you go back to the mind. I think some of the guys that have played Idaho before and been in those situations where we've just fallen short, whether it's been at home or been away. I think, if I remember right, Jared Taylor's first start was against Idaho a couple years ago on this field. No one gave us a chance, and there we are with 3 or 4 minutes left in the game with more than a chance. So the game's played within the lines. I got asked 10 years ago as they're re-entering back to FCS and in the Big Sky, how is this going to be? Selfishly, I told the team on Sunday, I've never faced Idaho from a rivalry standpoint in pads, because they were at the FBS level in '96 when I first got here. I've heard a lot of stories, and some of them are really, really good, and not probably for camera. But there was some bad blood over the years in those late '80s, early '90s. That's the way it should be. And the more we play each other, the closer the games are, the more it goes back and forth. The home and away, we're whatever it is, 72 miles apart from each other. The more it's going to be filled with more intensity. And so I think we're getting to that point. They've had our number the last couple of years, but whether it's spring of 21 where we split, or fall of 21 where we got the best of them, or the last 2 times we faced them here and at their place they've got the best of us, that only leads to more intensifying games as we go forward. But you only get 5 years. So some of those guys will be able to tell their children, okay, what I couldn't really tell my children. We played them as FBS opponents in Joe Albi. It was different. So they get experience, and I'm kind of, living through our players, they get to experience something that I didn't get to experience, which is hard for them to understand, that they haven't been in the Big Sky forever. But to them, it's been for their forever. So I think it's great. It's good for pageantry. I think it's good for rivalry. I think it's good for the conference. I think it's good for the level when you have teams that are so close, that are competitive, especially when you play each and every year.
We talked about these are some young teams going up against each other here. Is there a matchup that you really like, or at least have your eye on?
I would say probably our O-line versus their defensive line / their pressures. They changed suit a little bit last week against Northern Colorado. Didn't bring as much pressure as their first 5 games when you actually break them down. And I'm not chasing the why, I just know the what I see and what the data we collected. I think it's big for us. We've had some holes, whether it be schematic holes or whether it be physical holes that we've kind of had to patch up, because I've said all year, you look at sacks and it's only 7 in 6 games, which looks like we've protected quarterback well. You got to collect more to get more into it. So I think that's what I'm most important, most eager to kind of see. I wouldn't say I like the matchup. I'm willing to see how hard and how fast and how well our guys step up to the challenge against a team that is salty on defense and starts up front. And I think we'll find out here in the first quarter and a half how well we are up to the challenge. And I don't think we'll back down, but I want us to step up. So there's a big difference between backing down and stepping up. There's a big gap in between that. And I think now is the time, and no better place to do it at home, because in our own beds in front of a Hall of Fame crowd that we're inducting our Eastern Athletic Hall of Fame members in this weekend. So there's some things outside of the game that are also exciting as well, that kind of lead up to the game of 4.
What is Jared's status look like for this week?
Jared is day to day. It looks like he's going to play, but we're at Tuesday, so I hate to be the same story. Press stop and then press play or rewind from weeks ago with anybody. Again, no gamesmanship, but he's cleared to practice. He's as tolerated, so we expect him to play. To what capacity, in what capacity, to be determined. We'll have probably a better idea going into Thursday. But the expectation is 15 plays.
Do you think that the bye week really helped with getting him back to where he needs to be able to play?
I think it probably helped him more than it helped me. but again, like I say, it's only a week, so sometimes people feel like it's a 6-month bye. Where all of a sudden you know how many people ask me over the week, hey, are you gonna get this person back? Is this person gonna play? On top of Jared, it's like it was only 5 days. I'd love it to be 5 weeks because then everybody would be healthy on both teams. I think we'll see a few guys back with more reps than they've taken the last couple weeks. But again, to be determined. But at the end of the day, who knows how that's going to go? You're on the back half, 6 straight. You could be cleared, and all of a sudden you get clearance, and all of a sudden before you know it, you're banged up again, and all of a sudden it sets you back. So our philosophy is put them in the best position, the best health that they can be, knowing that if they're going in at 80%, we don't want them to come back the next week at 65. We'd rather go in at 95, being at 85. So the further along percentage-wise we can go before we go to game mode, the better off for us, and the better off for the team in general. Good. Thank you.